Hello, my name is Bosko Popovic. I'm energy healing coach and a teacher. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the specifics that are contributing towards the erosion of your mental health initial stages. Of course, that erosion of mental health then goes from very light, from being just light stress, to fears, anxieties, depression, and so on and so forth, into the more complex mental health deviations. But at the same time, as you are unfortunately descending down in your cognitive abilities, your body is, of course, going through the same process of deterioration, which then leads at the same time towards the physical erosion of your body, with the actual deformations and the dysfunctions of your inner organs and creation of more complex ailments on a physical side as well. But the root cause of all that is the actual mental erosion and your inability to control your emotions. This is the key part in this whole story, if you wish. So, in almost all cases, and we're talking about on the generic terms, we're not getting into the sort of a genetic predispositions, which of course for the certain people have a greater sort of influence on their own health and well-being, both mental and the physical. But this is another topic. This is not the topic of this particular video, because in here we are focusing on perfectly healthy people with no such genetic predispositions that are leading towards creation of ailments. We're talking here about the people that are free from that particular let's say the misfortune. And so in almost all cases, the erosion of mental health comes from persistent mental neglect. And what it means is, well, let's say mental, at the same time, it is also a physical neglect as well, which in one word is the so-called unhealthy lifestyle. Very, very important to note, because literally all the wrongs that are starting to affect you on the physical scale, because everything is measured in terms of the performance of your inner organs and the, how can I say, the efficiency with which they communicate with each other and which they cooperate in order to keep you healthy and firing on all cylinders. Any dysfunctions in your subcellular structure will automatically affect this particular cooperation and coordination between your inner organs. And the key factor in that is reduced energy flow in your bioenergy field. So what actually contributes towards the creation of the reduced energy flow in your bioenergy field? I maybe have talked about it in my previous videos, but basically it is, in one word, unhealthy lifestyle, which means that you're either eating, starting with your diet. Now, the quantity of food is very important. So that means, do you overeat or do you undereat? Then, second thing is, what is on your plate? You know, do you sort of like eat so-called veggies and fruits and stuff like that are good for you? Or do you indulge in man-made products? So all we really have to be careful about that, because industrial, highly processed foods are definitely not good for you. Anything that is basically processed is something that your liver and your digestive system has a problem to break down correctly. As that is the case, it actually dispenses a lot of energy, and at the same time it does not extract the nutrients it needs for your body to work properly. As that is the case, it actually takes all the sort of active materials such as your minerals from your bones in order to keep and balance the correct pH structure in your body, which is acidity, alkalinity balance, which is the basic chemical balance in the body. As that is the case, it affects immediately. The more acidic the body, the actual sort of the physical manifestation is that you are bigger. Not bigger in terms of muscular, but in terms of the fat deposits in the body, particularly layers around your inner organs. Also, you're feeling tired, you're not mentally focused, and so on and so forth. All these things are pointing out that your diet is not good, because the energy flow in your bioenergy field is reduced, and that automatically impacts the communication between in your inner cellular structure, and with that is affected your inner organ functioning. All that starts then to create so-called SOS response that affects your mental and cognitive ability. The same things, exactly the same thing is with the water intake. Now, how much water do you actually consume daily? If it's less than 1 liter, then certainly that's not enough. 2 liters plus, depending on your body weight and the size of your body, is a must. Because why? The water actually allows, first of all, to clean your body from the so-called unnecessary or the toxic materials in the body, flushing it out sort of through your endocrine system. Sorry, through your I forgot now the what's his name now? It'll come to me. The and also the it will actually allow you to sort of to create the better chemical balance in the body, which will then sort of allow the better sort of flow of bioenergy in your body, and that will give you more sort of how can I say the agility, more power. You will feel more energized, and so on and so forth. So this is something to be paying attention to. Also, another thing as well is the sort of use of medications. Also, sweets, anything that can actually create this balance or the chemical misbalance in your body by overeating of these sort of products can actually sort of dramatically impact your chemical balance in the body, as I've already explained. Another thing as well that leads as well to pollution of the body is the lack of exercise, because exercise is one of the key, how can I say, the physiological sort of requirements that actually moves, literally depending on what type of exercise you're doing, certain muscle groups within parts of your body, or if you're doing more like running or anything, or cycling or anything that involves the whole body, in that case, literally more or less the whole body is active, and that what it actually creates through your breathing, it actually expands and contracts your inner muscles, inner muscles, which are then pushing your inner organs. Why is that important? Because through this particular exercise, your inner organs effectively being massaged, And then through that particular motion, or the massage motion, it's actually releasing a lot of so-called stale negative energy, which then is properly, through the exercise that I'm teaching in my program, you're basically releasing out of your bioenergy field, and with that you're replenishing, and with a new properly recharged energy that then actually helps you to revamp and to kind of keep your cognitive ability at a higher level. In addition to that, is very important to have a correct sleep, because correct sleep allows you to metabolically recharge and again reduce the amount of toxicity in your body. Very, very important. And as you're doing all that, you're at the same time creating more cognitive ability to be in the present moment, together if you practice the exercises of what I'm teaching in the program, which is the correct deep abdominal breathing, energy generation exercises, which are then allowing you to, again, repeat myself, to clean or to release negative energy and then recharge the positive energy, which then keeps you grounded in the present moment. So whatever it is that you're facing on every minute or every day is not going to affect you for longer periods of time. You will be affected at the moment when something happens, depending on the actual degree to which you are free or to which you're capable to actually absorb the amount of negativity that's going to come with that particular inappropriate event. But that's not going to last very long, purely because you now know and you've learned and you're doing it all the time. So you're constantly releasing that negative energy. So it will actually follow you for a short period of time, but will at the same time give you a cognitive ability to focus on the things that are very important for you, to keep resolving whatever it is that's in front of you on an ongoing basis. And with that in mind, you are fully in control. This is a very important factor. And as you're fully in control, you're controlling the process of releasing the negative energy. And so whatever happened to you in a negative sense, with some negative, inappropriate event, will dwindle away and will not build up to create this excessive sort of mental block that will then contribute towards your stress, and that will overwhelm you to such a degree that you will become fearful, and as you can be fearful, that fear that sort of continues and it gets more amplified, and it becomes on its own an anxiety which is powered on its own, and it creates its own life out of literally nothing. So for that reason, it is always important to be aware of everything that you're doing in your life, particularly your lifestyle. I mean, how you treat yourself, very, very important, because your self-treatment is absolutely crucial for you to be in control. And the more you are in control of all aspects of your cognitive resonance, you are leading the way. The problem comes when everything flips due to the accumulated buildup of negative energy that then overwhelms you to that degree that you're now literally becoming imprisoned by the fear. And this is irrational fear. So this irrational fear will then cause you to be less attentive to things that you'll be easily be dealing with if this fear was not taking control over your cognitive abilities. And in this way, sort of you are also, because you're in charge, you're now releasing, and whilst you're releasing, you're actually denting the effects of the fear that it possibly can do for you. Because remember, fear comes in instants. This is a responsive factor, that you're responding to something that happened to you here and now. But consistent fear leads to anxieties, which have the life of their own and become irrational, which means you're fearful all the time for no reason. That comes through the actual writing down into your subcellular structure that your new program or the new cognitive way of being is to be fearful. And this is what you are then experiencing in your reality. Even though, if you focus on the present moment, anything around you in your reality does not support the sentiment that you have and the belief that you have from within you that you are under some kind of threat. There's no material evidence, but nevertheless, even though there's no material evidence, something from within you tells you and keeps you in a constant alert. Now that thing drives your energy out of your body, and then with that particular negative drive, it erodes your cognitive ability to be focused on the present moment, giving the power of, let's say, controlling you to this new software that was created to keep you imprisoned, unable to defend, unable to be cognitive about what's going on, and unable to do something to protect yourself and to be in charge of your life. Very, very important. And so the first thing that you need to do in order to turn things around, I've said it in my previous videos, because it is the fact. I cannot be inventing something new, which there isn't, is to start to calm down. How you calm down? Through deep abdominal breathing. Now, when you're overstressed, when you are deeply in fear, when you're deeply controlled by this newly imposed program, it is very difficult for you, first of all, to realize that you're being controlled. That's number one. Now, let's assume that you realize that. Now, you need to get yourself in a position number two, to, despite all these rational fears that you have, that you now want and you need to start to work on yourself. In a situation you're in of a constant attacks, constant fear, you constantly feel unsafe, something is around the corner, something will get you, you don't know where it is, but nevertheless it's somewhere in your vicinity, but you cannot locate and pinpoint what and where it is. And this is what actually adds to the anxiety or to the actual fear. And that anxiety is inability to pinpoint, because that keeps you on your toes. But in order to actually combat that, you need to really find the strength from within yourself when you feel the most fearful. I know it's difficult, but this is the trick. And then start working on your breathing. It doesn't matter what you do and how you do it. What matters is that you start doing it. This is what matters. The technique will come on its own when you start to master the technique. You will then become better at it purely by doing it. That means the more you do it, the more you will start to see the nuances behind it, the fine things that you have not noticed before. But you cannot notice that unless you start the process. And this is the hardest bit. Just starting the process is the most hardest bit that you will ever experience. Because you have to, first of all, combat your software, that will vehemently oppose that, because it knows that once you start this particular process, it will be destroyed at some point, and it will do all it can to prevent you to do that. So it will create all different sort of chaos scenarios that will actually prevent you to even start. But if you find the strength from within yourself to overcome that barrage of negative emotions or negative messages or whatever it might be that are driving you overboard and you're feeling powerless, if you find the strength to actually deal with that monster and you start doing what I'm actually doing here, you will, if you persist and you believe in this, you will over time wrestle the beast down, purely by trusting yourself that you can do it. This is the key, because if you don't trust yourself that you can do it, nobody can help you, because you are the one that can do it, and nobody else can do it for you. This is exactly how it is. I know it because I've been there myself. So the key thing in all that is to start the process of acknowledging that you need to help yourself. And once you do that, start with the simple exercises of breathing. In my previous videos, I've actually shared with you 4 powerful exercises that you can do. Those 4 exercises will actually help you to turn things around completely, from the head onto its feet. And you will never look back. And when you start doing that, everything I said early in this video about your lifestyle will automatically start to make sense, because now you will start to clear the fog around your eyes, and your vision will become more clear. As a consequence of you being able to see things the way they are, as opposed to how they are being presented to you, in order to keep you in the illusion that you are powerless. There's 2 different things. And once you start to see things for what they are, you will start to experiment. And if you don't believe me that your lifestyle contributes towards that, that's not a problem. Once you start to clear the fog around your eyes, by default, you will start to experiment. And when you start doing that, you will then start to see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. What actually contributes towards what factors that contribute towards your negative states, and what you need to do in terms of basically dealing with those symptoms or factors, whatever they are, such as this case could be your bad diet, lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and basically cutting down your alcohol intake, your medications, and all these things are contributing towards the creation of the so-called negative states and the inner chemical pollution in your body that's leading you into this fogginess. And the more you start to clean yourself, the better you will see, and the more you will then be driven to find what really works for you. And this is where my programs comes into place, because of the pure flexibility that I can offer you in terms of the guidance that you need, in terms of what specifically do you need for your own condition and for your own, the rehabilitation, in order to go forward. Because every one of us is different, and every one of us needs to find his or her own way out. But it only comes through this trial and denial, and through understanding what works, what doesn't. And once you start to master this particular technique, you will never look back, because that will empower you to go forward and forward. And any obstacles that I have, you would just treat them as such, as in obstacles or ways from which you can learn what you need to do next in order to progress in your quest to help yourself to become the best version of yourself. This is basically all I have to say about this topic on this video. And if you have any questions, as usual, please drop them in the comment section below, or you can actually visit my website, which is www.energy-savvy.com, and you can also get in touch with me on info@energy-savvy.com, and I will be able to we can discuss whatever requirements you may have. Until then, in the next video, all the very best.